Hey everybody, Charlie King here with you, and we've got our recent winner, J.B. Holmes. Congratulations to him for his comeback from all the difficulty he's had over the last few years. I was reading some of the stories about it, and really hard to believe. You know, that's rough. So good congratulations to him. Feel real happy for him to get back into the winner's circle. And so we're going to just look at him from the face-on view. You know, as we love, we love talking about individual differences here and uniqueness. And here's another, which that's the theme we see over and over and over. There's things that these really good players have in common, and then there are kind of these unique things that they have. So we start out, draw our line, just to see relative. And so he's very centered. He's turning. He's got width. And you see with J.B. Holmes, I think one of the interesting things is for someone who hits it as far as he does, how his wrists don't have as much wrist set as we see in a Freddie Couples and in a Sergio and, really on and on and on. I mean, so it's interesting how he does increase his wrist hinge as he comes down. And, how late he undoes his wrist hinge. So you see how far he's got his hands in front. So there's really massive shaft lean as he comes to impact. So let's just say that's an 8-iron. He's turned it into a 6-iron at impact. And so off he goes, hitting against that firm front leg. Even though, again, it's got just a little bit of bend in it. You see how he kind of gets up on the edge of his foot. And, the big thing there is a lot of times a person will say, oh, he's moving all over the place, or the foot should be flat on the ground. But we just, if you watch much video over and over and over, we see that's just, it's just not the case. So the real deal is that he's hitting against the resistance of the ground. And that foot is pushing up away from the ground to some degree. But so you see there, the big feature there for him is that for as big a hitter as J.B. Holmes is, he doesn't have that massive lag that a lot of players have. He has good lag. He just doesn't have kind of that massive that we see in a lot of players. And so now let's look at him down the target line. So tends to be a fader, so he's lined up left, and there, once again, we see that, players talk about keeping that club head outside the hands, but, there's just tons of good players whose club head goes inside their hands as they take the club back. He continues back to the top, and his arm goes, above his shoulders, club face slightly closed. So then, as he starts down, you see the club start to drop, but you also see his left arm. His left arm gets out, his shaft shallows, which is definitely what I see a lot of times with, the power faders is that look. And so he's, his hips clearing, his shoulders are still a little bit closed, and so you see that shaft shallowing out, and so the club head is inside his hands right here. So again, classic powerful fade is coming from a shallow angle. So when when a slicer, someone who's slicing the ball, it's coming out to in with the face open. Somebody who's hitting a powerful fade, it's coming from the inside. They're lined up to the left, body opens up quite a bit. And then, we see this over and over. That left arm, you can still see it as they come to impact. And then the right arm kind of is working. You see it finally. Yeah, and then crossover, and there he goes. So another good swing, another good example. Uniqueness wins over and over and over. You've got to stay true to that unique part of your golf swing, and keep up the good work and keep checking these things out, and we're going to keep getting better.